So I think there's like a very strong human need actually to, in moments of great joy and great grief and great fear and great excitement, to feel like we are not alone and that we have a certain set of tools and rules to follow.
Hey everyone, welcome to Wandering Jews with Mijal and Noam.
I'm Mijal.
And I'm Noam, and this podcast is our way of trying to unpack those really big questions being asked by young people about Israel, about Judaism, and the Jewish experience, with the goal of leaving every single episode in a better place than where we started from. We don't have it all figured out, but we love working through it all with you, our fellow Wandering Jews.
And we really do appreciate and love hearing from you. So please feel free to send us questions, suggestions, disagreements, feedback. Just email us at wanderingjews@unpack.media.
We're proud to be collaborating with Sefaria and the Simchat Torah Challenge on this episode, along with all the other episodes of our In the Beginning mini-series, in which we're unpacking the foundational questions of Jewish life. We're big fans of these incredible organizations, and you can learn more about the amazing work they do through the links in the show notes.
And if you're interested in sponsoring an episode of Wandering Jews with Mijal and Noam, or even an upcoming mini-series, be in touch at, you guessed it, wanderingjews@unpack.media.
Today, Mijal, I'm so happy to be back with you.
Sames.
Sames. I like that. I was kind of off brand for you to say sames like that. I like that though. Okay. Sames. Samesies. So I want to talk to you about something in Judaism that I think when people think of Judaism, they kind of think about all this, which is life cycles.
Okay.
Like the Jewish life cycle experience.
Life cycle, like celebrations.
Yeah, celebrations,
parties.
mornings, parties, all the different things that make the Jewish life experience what it really is. So I want to play a game, though. I want to start with a game. You ready to be competitive?
Go for it.
Okay. We're going to play a game where we're going to each say Jewish life cycle stages, the name of them. We're going to go back and forth. I'm going to say one, you say one, and whoever loses has to buy the other a very fancy yogurt. Okay.
You mean whoever gets the last one?
Whoever whoever gets stumped. Yeah. Ready? Here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to start. Let's see how we do.
All right.
Bar mitzvah.
Bat mitzvah.
Simchat bat.
Zeved bat.
Brit milah. Okay. Brit milah.
But shouldn't we just say what these are?
We
Okay.
will.
Pidyon aven.
Wedding.
Sheva brachot.
Shiva.
You
lose.
I am not done. Oh my gosh.
It's on you.
Funeral, yahrzeit.
Do you say yahrzeit in your tradition?
Depends. No.
You say hilula, right?
It depends on which community, for what and for whom. Like Syrians say one thing, Persians say, we all say different ones.
But why would anyone say yahrzeit? Because isn't it Yiddish?
There are some idioms. For example, we're going to talk about brit milah. So Syrian Jews in America say bris. Actually.
Syrian Jews say bris?
Yeah, they do. I know
because it's like Americanized. Is that
right? That is Americanized. Other things I haven't, but that I know this because in my work on Syrian Jews, I've written bris, and I've footnoted it, explains why, and I've had Ashkenazi reviewers being like, "This is wrong," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
That is so interesting.
Yeah. So and then for like people have like Bukharians have their own mourning. People have very different names for different mourning customs.
I did not know that. That's so interesting.
Well, a lot of the things are there's a difference between Jewish law and custom.
Yeah.
So I think the things that have to do with custom have the most variance because they reflect different places of origin.
Okay, that's very.
I had henna down my sleeve also.
Henna.
Yeah, I had a henna party.
You had a henna party.
Yeah, I did.
When did you do that?
Before my wedding.
That's also a traditional Jewish thing to do.
Moroccan, yeah.
You're Moroccan?
I am part Moroccan.
Kind of.
Okay, Spanish Moroccan.
Spanish Moroccan.
Yeah.
You're not also Syrian?
I am. We've been doing 4 grandparents.
Okay, so you're half Syrian, or no?
I am 1/4 Syrian, 1/4 Moroccan, and 1/2 from Spain with origins in like the Spanish Morocco kind of area.
Got it. Okay. So there are a lot of different traditions as part of the Jewish life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jewish life cycle throughout, from birth to death, from cradle to grave, really tell the Jewish experience. Meaning there's the Jewish experience nationally and collectively, and then there's the Jewish experience individually and communally. And the Jewish experience individually and communally are marked by these sort of events throughout life. So I have 4 different questions I want to go through with you.
Have you been, by the way, to the Anu Museum in Tel Aviv?
Of course.
And also the Museum in Jerusalem has this too, I think. They have amazing wings that are dedicated to ritual items from life cycle events.
Yeah, by the way,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, so people
like henna dresses, brit milah.
I love this stuff. And
pillows.
You could really understand the Jewish experience.
Stunning, yeah.
It's
and
stunning.
Diversity.
It's diverse.
Colorful, beautiful.
Yeah, all these things. They're all great. They're great. That's like you get to see different flavors of Judaism. I have 4 questions for you, Mijal.
Okay.
The first question, before I get to my question, it's like the most Jewish thing in the world.
Okay.
I have 4 questions, but I have a question before that.
Okay.
I just thought of you used the word ritual before.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people tell me that they don't like the word ritual because it sounds. You're always like, which people and why?
I'm like, who are your friends?
And you're right. So no, they're not. I wouldn't say these are friends. These are more. I don't want to describe them, but the word ritual makes them feel uncomfortable. Like it's not that it's not exciting. It's not enticing to be part of a ritual. Do you have any idea why this would be like a negative word? The rituals of. Does it make it sound not real? Does it make it sound like maybe it sounds like a plaything?
I mean, it sounds a little bit like old and established,
right?
But I have no problem with old and established. So maybe that's why I'm like
right. No, there's only like that's what it is.
Yeah, and there's also like a lot of theory around ritual. Like anthropologists have been writing about rituals because all societies, like a birthday cake, is a ritual.
Right, but maybe that's why now I'm hearing you say it. Maybe the reason some people have an issue with the word ritual. I'm saying from a conservative, lowercase c, conservative. Traditionalist, not just traditional, but traditionalist perspective, if you turn these items, bar mitzvah, brit milah, wedding, into what's a ritual, and then you turn it into like a secular, anthropological, like every people does this, then it takes away the sanctity and the uniqueness in Judaism. Maybe that's why the term ritual could feel.
Well, I would disagree with that, but do you agree with that, or are you just playing devil's advocate?
You're
saying, just to clarify, you're saying, if we talk about our rituals and our life cycle events in the same way that we speak about other communities and societies having this, we make them somehow less special? That
there is a feeling. I'm actually speaking for that like listener who's not me in this case. I view it very similarly to you, which is that every single society and community has rituals that mark their life cycles, and Judaism.
I'm sure your family has rituals. Yeah. My family has rituals.
Give me an example of a ritual from your family.
So one of my kids has a little bit of a hard time communicating about their day and their emotions. So I came up with a ritual about a year ago in which at dinner, we go around the table and we play Two Truths and a Lie to talk about our day. That's become a ritual, actually.
That's hard to think of.
We have fun. We do it. It's okay, but it's a ritual. It's a ritual.
Right. So we have a ritual on Friday night. We do at our Shabbat table, we do what's called highlight of the week. Simchat HaShavua in Hebrew, right? Like the highlight of the week, and everyone says something positive. My mom and dad used to every birthday, for example, the ritual that we had in our family, the Weissman family growing up, my dad would like leave to work super early in the morning. So everyone would wake up very early. My mom and dad would wake up everyone early when it was someone's birthday. And that was the ritual. You knew you were getting woken up early before my dad goes. And then, and then you would have
what a birthday.
My family has not taken that on, but my parents, we would wake up very early.
Okay.
And by the way, very early probably meant like 7 a.m. as opposed to 7:20. But and then we'd have birthday cake and we would have the presents and like it would be a whole ritual.
Right.
So that's the concept.
So it doesn't make me feel less special to know your family has rituals and mine also.
Love that.
I don't know.
All right, episode over. Okay. Yeah. But okay, so the concept of ritual, okay, that was my pre-question 4 questions. Question number 1.
I feel like every time you're like, oh, some people say this, it's really just you.
No.
And you're like,
no, it's like, there's.
Or like one friend from high school.
Definitely not a friend from high school.
Enemy from high school.
Not an enemy. I would say like, sometimes I like to represent like a worldview that's not mine, but that is said to me from a certain corner of the world. Like it could be a progressive idea, it could be a traditionalist idea, and it's like almost like a devil's advocate, a steel man, a straw man, and just to hear it out with you talk it through with you is very helpful for me. So this podcast is about what's helpful to me.
I know. I know.
Okay, so here's the question I want to ask you: why is it important to mark every stage of life? Like, why is that important? Yeah. Speak to me anthropologically for a second.
Well, I would say anthropologically that like different anthropologists like Victor Turner or others have written about this idea of liminality, right? When you go from stage to stage, it's almost like you pass like you go through something that is a little bit unknown to go to a new place. And very often human beings have, I would say, a lot of fear especially around those transitions. So most human cultures have developed rituals to mark transitions, to mark new beginnings, to mark endings. And again, there's different schools of thoughts on this, but to me, I find it very compelling to understand that in times of uncertainty or change, you ground yourself in something communal, something that has to do with ritual. It also gives you like a recipe, like a structure, right? Like when you have like some major things in life, like finding a partner, having a child, like you are part of a structure. You get to benefit from like the wisdom of those who came before you. You get to mark things together with community. So I think there's like a very strong human need actually to, in moments of great joy and great grief and great fear and great excitement, to feel like we are not alone and that we have a certain set of tools and rules to follow.
That is a framing that could have used earlier in my life. I think it's a great one. I think of this as a different sort of example, but I think of a lot of Jewish people, people might not know this, but after they graduate from Jewish high school around the world, what a lot of people do is before they go to university, before they go to college, they take a gap year. And that gap year is very often in the state of Israel, where they study in seminary or they study in yeshiva or they go to a program, whatever it is. And I viewed, for me, my life, and when I finished 12th grade, I knew that my life would look pretty different graduating high school and going to this new stage of life. And it was very lonely. It's a very lonely feeling because you know that you're divorcing in many ways from one reality and creating something that's totally new. So that concept of a ritual there's something very powerful about your description of the unknown, and having that communal experience kind of help you get to that.
It's grounding.
It's grounding, exactly.
Yeah, I see it often like with mourning, right? With grief, right? You feel so like the world is spiraling in many ways.
So you have that.
And then you've got like rituals, literally like do this, do that, be in community, have people take care of you. And that was the anthropologist. I also, as a committed Jew, I also believe that our traditions have great meaning in terms of each tradition. Right. So we can also,
let's.
Right. I don't want to pretend like that's not there.
Is there a downside to ritual?
Well, meaning let's this life cycle ritual, not just all rituals.
Yeah, life cycle ritual. Like, meaning, is there a downside to following prescribed way to behave, to act, to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the tension, I think, between the individual subjective experience and between, communal one. So as an example, I know that when I had my son and the brit milah, the bris, right, 8 days later, I mean, there's many new parents who the last thing they want is to throw a party within 8 days of giving birth, get dressed up, invite the entire community. Right. And what if I was actually okay, but I have friends who were like terrified doing this or had tremendous anxiety around this or like actually suffered during like their son's brit milah. So there's always, whenever there's anything communal or structured, there's always the potential for a gap between the individual experience and what the community asks for. So I think to me, that's a big challenge. What about you? What do you think?
Well, I was thinking of a very similar example about the Shalom Zachar, as it's called. Do you have that in your community?
I don't think so.
So that's what we have is on Friday night.
We do like a Zohar reading. We call it the Zohar reading, the Syrian community at least.
That's so cool. You read the Zohar?
I think parts of it. Honestly, it's for men only, so I have not been invited. Okay, go for it.
That's gonna be my theme.
Sure. Okay. But the Shalom Zachar.
So where a number of people come together on Friday night. They come to the house.
When a baby born is boy.
When a baby boy is born, yeah. And some communities when a baby girl, but primarily when a baby boy is born. And you have a party Friday night. You either say words of Torah, you sing songs. In some communities, they eat and they drink plenty. And I remember being, maybe I sound like a Grinch right now, but when Eyal, our eldest, was born, I did not want to do it. I was like, I actually don't even understand it. Razy just gave birth.
Right. And now we have to host.
We have to host a party. Now that sounds like, dude, come on. Like,
that's not a great, I mean, I would,
Right, but a lot of people love this stuff. They love it. So but it's not a ritual that you have to do, but it's become a ritual that in many communities has become the norm. And it's then it becomes suffocating.
Let me add one more challenge to this, Noam. I think that in some communities, it also becomes incredibly expensive.
Yeah, it's an interesting
like
one.
Part of my interviews, my sociological study, we interviewed people in different communities where certain life cycle events are incredibly important. So whether it's weddings or funerals, and there's very specific expectations as to the size and the cost. And there's families that mortgage their home, take a second mortgage to pay for things.
What?
And it can, if you live in a community where there is expectations, it can become really, really hard if you can't meet them, and it can throw families into challenging places. So, life cycle events I think are wonderful, and there's also the meaning behind them, and there's also how they're actually practiced. And to me, that's a real concern, actually.
That is not something that was on my mind, but it is something that in this conversation, but it's often on my mind. But let's say the positive now. The positive in going through being Jewish, I love this. I love having a map for being human. I love that. I love having the ability to say, I have a map, I have a direction. When my son turns 8 days old, we do this. When my daughter is, let's say 30 days old, we'll do this Simchat bat or something like that. In many communities, when they're 3 years old, they have what's called the upshurin. Do you guys do that at all?
My family doesn't, but you can describe it.
So I also...
it's called upshurin and chakale also.
I don't know.
In Hebrew?
Well, there's got to be a name for it because upshurin is not Hebrew.
I think chakale.
Chakale?
Chakale, yeah.
Chakale.
Yeah. I think it's like the Israeli term.
That's great. I don't know that.
Or I just made it up, which is also fine.
I like it. You know what? Either way.
Yeah.
What is it, producer Ryan?
Chalaka.
Oh, chalaka.
Chalaka
is the correct term.
Okay.
But I was so close.
But you were close and you get points.
Thank you.
Okay, so there we go.
Yes, chalaka.
Chalaka. So that is when a boy turns 3 years old, you snip some of his hair.
Well, you don't cut his hair before this.
You don't cut his hair.
Right. So it's very cute, actually. Little like boys.
It's cute. I was once a rent-a-rabbi, like a rent-a-teacher. Okay. And they, my friends, they're my friends. They asked me to perform an upshurin. Now, what was funny about it is I didn't do it for my own son because it's not part of my tradition.
It's very mystical, Hasidic infused.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with mysticism and Hasidut, but there's different aspects of it that come from perhaps a tradition that's outside of Judaism, and it's not a commandment.
What does that mean? No.
We'll do.
Wait, what?
We'll do an episode. We're going to do an episode on upshurin another time.
Are you saying that there's some life cycle events that some Jews celebrate in ways that you find not just different but problematic?
Well, it comes from the outside world, and we mimic the outside world at times in a way that we then internalize. Now, there's no problem with internalizing. Not just no problem. So much of Judaism is taking surrounding culture and then circumcising it and making it Jewish, right? Like so much of Judaism is precisely that. That's what we do. I mean, if you look at the Passover Seder, it was the order of it comes from the Greek symposium.
Right.
And we have example after example of this. That's not like, I'm not saying anything that's new here, but the idea when something's not a commandment to then take something from the outside world, that becomes a question mark. But either way, I'm being a Grinch. Yeah, I'm being a Grinch right now. You know what? If people want to wait 3 years, let me say this for the record. If you want to wait 3 years not to cut your boy's hair, do it. Wait for it and then have an amazing ceremony. Put that yarmulke on his head. Get him to wear those tzitzit, those strings. Do it. Have fun with it. And then it's meaningful and make it meaningful. But okay, so then you have that. And then you go through life, and then what's the next thing after this?
There's so many things.
Okay, let's
Depends how far out there you want to go. Wait, we didn't start from the beginning.
Okay, fine. Wait, bris.
Okay. So for a boy, and it's very gendered, all this, in a way that not everything is.
Right.
Just naming that.
Okay.
So when a baby's born, boys, 8th day, you have circumcision, brit milah.
Yeah. We skipped one.
Yes. If it's not from a priestly or Levite family.
This is great.
That boy.
We're in the weeds.
We are in the weeds. So the baby boy, there's other requirements, but I'm going to just speak very generally right now.
C-section.
Gosh. Sorry.
I just had no filter there. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Baby boy.
Yeah.
Yes. A bunch of other requirements about it, but the firstborn boy would also have something called pidyon haben, which is basically that according to the Bible, when God redeemed the Israelites out of Egypt, God protected the firstborn from the plague, the death of the firstborn, the 10th plague. And as such, the firstborns almost like they have to dedicate their life to God. So a parent would have to financially, it's a little bit like, not silly, but like weird compared to our Mennonites, financially redeem their son, their baby boy, from a priest.
Right.
In order for them to become theirs again. So my husband, by the way, happens to be a priest.
Hey, that is a big deal.
Thank you.
You're married to a priest.
So we've been in a bunch of ceremonies in which he's the priest.
Yeah.
So the parent will basically have to buy like 5 special coins and redeem their baby boy. It's a very cute ceremony. Okay. I'll just say one more ceremony here.
Well, 1 second. That is a thing that a lot of people don't know about.
Correct.
Not
everybody does it also because if
it's kind of rare in many ways.
It is rare. I actually don't know if all communities do this or if it's some communities more than others.
But I'm saying it is an ancient. It is ancient.
It is. It is an ancient ritual. Yes.
Okay. What can we talk about the Zebed Habat and the Simchat?
That's what I was going to say. So I'm going to say something a little bit obnoxious but self-referential because I'm Sephardic, so I can say this. That. Sephardic Jews, we are not known to always be like the most egalitarian or progressive tradition. Is it fair to say that?
I can't believe you just said that.
Okay, but can I just say that for now?
You can say it for now.
Once in a while, we have a tradition that is very progressive. So it's exciting. So Zebed Habat is the name.
You want a cookie?
Okay. Zebed Habat is the name given to an ancient Middle Eastern, North African Jewish tradition. I think North African more than Middle Eastern.
Yes.
That developed in the 17th century. At least that's when we have the earliest records of it.
Yeah. In
which we celebrate the birth of a baby girl. It's called Zebed Habat. So it doesn't involve like a circumcision ritual, but it does
It's important to say we don't have that in Judaism.
Correct. We don't have that. It does involve a communal celebration of the new name being given.
It's incredible.
Have you done this for your daughters?
Of course. I have 3
But you
daughters.
called it Simchat Bat.
No, Zebed Habat.
Oh, you said before Simchat Bat. Okay.
I said that
Simchat
before.
Bat is like the Ashkenazi version.
But we did, with the Zebed Habat and Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, of blessed memory, in his Siddur, in his prayer book, they have a whole ritual for it, and it's unbelievable. People came to me after our last Zebed Habat when we did it for Sarit a couple of years ago. People were like, I've never been to a ceremony like this. And because like you said, like there's an aspect of Judaism which is gendered, that is an aspect of it. And certainly the way many Jews traditionally have done it for many years, that's not the same in certain aspects, different denominations. But in some denominations and traditionally, there is a gendered aspect to it. But and that is what it is. The Zebed Habat is very special. And you say verses from the Bible. Like it's a very special thing.
So I'll name something actually. So in all of these things, you can differentiate between like law and custom. So even like a brit milah and circumcision, right? So you have legally the requirement for circumcision. Law. You have certain blessings, but then there's like a crazy amount of customs. Yeah. Like from the songs that are sung to who holds the baby, to how the baby is brought in, to what we have like a tray where you put jewelry. Persians throw up. There's like so many things.
Throw who?
They have apples they give to everybody. I don't think they throw them. They give it out. In my mind, I'm imagining apples being thrown.
I'm reminded of the question. Yeah.
But then, so there's customs and there's law. I know for me, I'll just name, for my daughter's Zebed Habat, I actually appreciate the flexibility. Like when there's something that's a little bit more modern, like Zebed Habat compared to like a circumcision, which is biblical, it's not really like law. So I felt very comfortable sitting with the ritual and like playing with it and saying, what am I going to add here? What am I going to add here? I want to read this. I want to do that. I want to do this. And like,
there's a flexibility. There's a malleability in a way that's like that you could use your creative juices.
I think so. For me, it's not so much about creative juices. It's about feeling ownership, you know?
Yeah.
And feeling like
autonomy
and also like making it my own. So it's funny. There's like an interesting tension there between things that are more established and things that are less established.
Right.
I think both have certain like, I don't know if it's pros and cons, but certain opportunities and challenges.
Yeah, and let me correct something I said before. I was just thinking about it. Zebed Habat and Simchat Bat don't have to be like 30 days or 20 days.
I think so.
Yeah, right. It doesn't have to be at a specific time. Pidyon Haben is a specific time. Brit Milah is a specific time. And let's get to the next one. I said Upshurin and explain that. There's a lot more. There are many mystical, beautiful things about that, comparing a human being to a tree of life, and there's a whole connection there. But let's go to. Yeah.
There also, I'm just going to say randomly, there's some people who do like a Lifecyle ritual when the children learn to read Hebrew. So I've been at some in which you have like the alphabet.
Yeah.
And you put honey in it.
That's what we do at Upshurins.
Oh, they do Upshurin? Okay.
Yeah. And then they taste.
When kids are 3, they can read the alphabet?
my kids could
Your kids could
going backwards, forwards,
right.
10 languages,
Sorry.
you name it.
Yep, you're right. So, but it's to make them feel like the Hebrew letters are sweet.
Yes.
And to get them excited about Jewish learning.
Yeah, we actually have a blessing before we study Torah that says v'ha'arevna. That means that study of Torah should be delicious.
Right.
It should be delicious. It should be amazing. That when you're studying Torah, it should be like, you should love it.
Yep.
And so that's what we start with Maimonides, who's like, people sometimes like describe and depict as like this cold, rational.
He probably was.
Well, he speaks about this, and he has a lot of emotional writings, by the way.
Correct.
Conversation for another time.
Yeah.
All right. So then bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
Did I skip?
Kind
of a little bit here and there. But
good.
Okay, bar mitzvah is something that
13-year-old for a boy.
13-year-old for boys.
12-year-old
Bat mitzvah is 12-year-old or 13 years old, depending on the community that you're in.
Right.
But in the traditional Orthodox community, it's typically 12. In other communities, Reform Conservative will be 13 often. My daughter recently asked me, she's like, why is it 12 in traditional Judaism and 13 for boys? What's the deal with that? You have an answer to that question?
I always assumed that the rabbis understood girls' maturity to come earlier.
That's what I said.
All right.
Okay. Same page. Okay. So so interesting. So the bar mitzvah is something that emerged over time, 2nd century. We think we have writings about it in the 13th century.
Yeah, people don't I mean, it's funny because most communities really celebrate it, and people don't realize that compared to other things, it's actually very modern.
Right.
There's no legal
but also when you think about bar mitzvah, what is it? You see a boy coming up to the Torah and he's reading from the Torah. Now, I got to tell you my own personal experience. My son, Eyal, is 12. He's going to have his bar mitzvah soon. And mazel tov. And what's really special about this, talking about the life cycles being the map of the human experience for the Jewish person, is my father is teaching my son to study his Torah portion. And it's beautiful. And we don't live in the same state. And they Zoom. And when they're in person, they do it together. It is so special to go through this experience of watching. My father taught me, my father taught my brothers, and my father's teaching my son.
That's very sweet.
It's very emotional. It's very special to see the connections. There's a biblical verse that says "V'shinantam levanecha," that you should teach your children, and to see my father doing that with my son it feels to be part of that is like the intergenerational, and for me to be in between feels like something very, very, I was going to use a Yiddish word, heartsick. It feels it's just so deeply meaningful. And let me say the downside of it is this has become this expectation. You were talking about a financial expectation, but this expectation in my community.
Big party.
There's the party. That's the financial aspect of it, which I think is very
dangerous. Not just financial time,
everything.
Focus.
It's a lot, and also the expectation of these young boys and in many communities, young girls to be reading from the Torah publicly, and it's a lot. Yeah. And it wasn't always this way. It was not always this way.
It was not. I mean, the original or not, like the earliest understanding around this was really around like the legal threshold to assume responsibility for your actions, right?
Right. That's the whole concept, to be a son of mitzvah or a daughter of mitzvah.
Right. So it's almost,
to be a son of commandment, a daughter of commandment.
Right. It's almost like in I don't know, in American law, when you become like formally like an adult, we have, I think, different classifications for different things, like what court that you're judged in, or and you vote or whatever. But in Jewish law, there's something about being accountable for mitzvot, for commandments at this age. Over time, it evolved into also like this reading in public, and then in modern times into like a massive party.
We even say,
I have a lot of feelings.
Do you have this in your tradition? We actually say a blessing.
Yeah.
Bless God.
Acknowledging God.
It's such a strange line. For exempting me from his punishment.
Right. It's basically like parents saying, not on me anymore.
Now it's on you. You're accountable. You are now accountable.
So, which I love the idea. And my kids are not in that age yet, the bar and bat mitzvah age.
Right.
But
thank you. But and girls, the bat mitzvah that started from the daughter of Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan, Judith Kaplan. First ever, 1922. Beautiful. Very recent. Judith Kaplan gets bat mitzvahed in public, and then there's a debate in the Orthodox world: do we do this? Do we not do this? And
we do.
And in the traditional Orthodox world, bat mitzvahs are very pervasive.
This is everywhere, by the way. Like I have family in different communities, including in very Haredi communities.
They do bat mitzvah?
They do.
Really?
Yeah. They do they'll do a party and they'll do afrashat, how do you say this?
Afrashat challah?
Yeah, they do different blessings, separation of the challah. They'll print things out. It's beautiful.
Okay, that's great. Awesome.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's bar and bat mitzvah. Now, one interesting thing that I've observed also is that there's different understandings around bar and bat mitzvah. In some communities, I would say maybe on the more traditional end, to be bar or bat mitzvah, it's just when you become a certain age. So let's say you don't have a party. Let's say you don't read. Let's say you do nothing, but you get to that age, you're now bar mitzvah or now bat mitzvah, right? There's all of these beautiful things that we do, but you don't have to do them to become that.
Right.
I think that I've seen in other communities, maybe on the more progressive end, thinking of bar and bat mitzvah as something that you have to actually do in order to become one. So, for example, I led a couple of birthright Israel trips when I was younger. And one of my birthright trips, there were a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, I'm not bar mitzvah," or "Oh, I'm not bat mitzvah." Right. So we're up in Masada, Mitzvah, and there we did a quasi ceremony, and they were like, "Now we're bar and bat mitzvah." Right. So some people, I think, view it as you reach a certain age, and that's when you are one, and others believe that it's you have to do it in order to say you are bar.
So then you're confirmed, your confirmation, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so now we have, and by the way, these are it's so special to celebrate with family, with friends, and different traditions and customs, and it's also a lot. But again, this is the roadmap for the Jewish person about what it means to be human and what it means to be Jewish. Then you have a wedding. Here's what I'll say about Jewish weddings. If you're not sure about Judaism, if you're hey, it's a little bit hey, it's a little bit meh, go to a Jewish wedding. Jewish weddings, I think this is something kind of like in the previous episode, we spoke about Jewish prayer, and I was Friday night services, Kabbalat Shabbat, that's where it's at. If you want to know where it's at, Friday night services, go to Kabbalat Shabbat. It's an experience. It's just awesome. A Jewish wedding, I think, is another example. It's another example of just this is alive. It's real. There's spirit. It has all the elements. It's got spirituality. It's got family. It's got tradition. It's got dancing. It's got food. It's got meaning. It's got friendship. And it's a lot. It's a lot for people who are not part of the Jewish community. When they come to a Jewish wedding, they're like, "Whoa, this is something else."
Yeah. My sister, we're recording this from when we're recording this. My sister got married last week. So she's
Mazal tov.
Thank you. Or Mabruk.
Mabruk.
Say both. Mabruk is more the Jewish.
Yeah, you're right. Mabruk.
It's okay. She got married to a wonderful Ashkenazi boy. So she's now Ashkenazi.
She's now Ashkenazi?
Yeah. She views herself as such.
She identifies as Ashkenazi.
She's taking on Ashkenazi practices.
Okay.
But she just got married. So this is very fresh. We're literally still doing in my family Sheva Brachot. Sheva Brachot is the 7 blessings that are said.
You're in the midst of it right now?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Let me finish saying what they are.
Okay.
They are the 7 blessings said under the wedding canopy, and they're also the 7 blessings said for 7 nights, basically, to celebrate the new couple, festive meals. So what was the question?
Do you like it?
Do I like Sheva Brachot? So I think it gets to what I was saying earlier. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes you're exhausted.
Right.
Bride and groom after their wedding are so tired, and they have to go and go to one party after the other with family and smile. So on the one hand, I think it's beautiful. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And it can also have its own challenges.
Yes. Yeah, it is. But it is both exhausting, fatiguing, and also.
Yeah, I'll say for me, by the way, it was it was so magnificent and happy. My sister is the youngest of 7, and this was the 7th wedding in my family, and it's the 3rd wedding that we have in the last 18 months.
Do you have this tradition? I forgot what it's called.
Mazinka. No, so I was thinking about this earlier. Did they do that
because he's Ashkenazi? Or?
No. So I was thinking about this earlier because you said that you don't like certain customs that come from the outside world. So Mazinka is this custom that some people do when it's your youngest kid getting married. Yeah. But my
I feel very grinchy when I say that, though.
Whatever. I don't put the guilt away. But my dad said, he was I looked into it, and it's not something that I do. And he went around basically singing psalms and just saying thank you.
Oh,
he was
that's Judaifying.
Yeah, he was so excited.
Judaized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then what do we have after weddings? What do we have after
Well,
this?
wedding, by the way, also involves, like I said before, like henna,
Right.
back in Talmudic
Well,
times.
in your communities, it involves henna.
Correct.
In my
Back
community,
in
we-
Talmudic times, there was also this engagement in Talmudic times.
Yeah.
Was its own ritually significant,
period.
legally significant life cycle event. So
Yeah.
there was like engagement and like then wedding. So like a ton of things. Sheva brachot, like we said, like that go around wedding.
Right. And then it's kind of like you in the Jewish life cycle, then you become a parent eventually, and then you do it for your
Right.
next generation.
Right.
Or if you're not a parent, then you experience it as a community member
Right.
and you participate in the community that you're in.
By the way, can I tell you something about weddings before we keep going?
Yeah.
So I have become such a fan of Syrian weddings. So I am part Syrian, but I didn't grow up in a Syrian community. The first Syrian wedding that I attended was my own. Okay. Because I'm married to somebody from the Syrian community and our wedding was structured like a Syrian wedding. Have you been to a Syrian wedding?
Of course.
Okay. So what do I mean when I say Syrian wedding?
I mean, what I went to was just like best New York City party club scene I've ever been to. I'm just telling you. That's.
But do you know what I'm talking about as a structure of a Syrian wedding? Like that's very different.
Well, tell me what you're talking about.
Well,
Because what was jarring for me,
yeah.
and again, I've only been to 3 or so,
Okay.
was you'd have like this like very religious looking rabbi.
Okay.
It was always with a big
Okay.
beard. I have a big like my
Okay.
big beard and like it was very deeply religious and like I'm
Reverent.
Irreverent. It's very there's a lot of reverence.
Yeah.
And it was like it felt very ancient, very traditional.
Okay.
And then
But it was a club.
and then it turned into whoever is part of the community. We're dancing.
Right.
We're going. You want food?
Right.
Let's go.
Right. So I'll tell you what
Is
customs.
that wrong?
That's not what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you what customs. So Syrians don't do seated weddings.
That's what I'm saying.
People don't know this. Let me just say this. People don't have assigned sitting.
That's what I'm talking about.
Instead, there's like a big buffet
Yes.
and there's some tables and you take food and you sit down. And what I love about it is that it's super flexible.
Yeah.
Like you go from place to place and like you dance and you eat, you come late, you come early.
Yeah.
By the way, if I could like create the perfect wedding,
Yeah.
I would definitely keep the bedekan that Ashkenazim do.
Right,
which is
so yeah, explain that.
the
one.
bedekan from as an outsider watching my
This
sister.
is a great game. Create
Your perfect wedding.
your perfect wedding.
Jewish wedding.
But the Bedekins, dude.
So
That's
I love the
great.
bedekan. Wait, 1 second. I would do the Sephardic ketuvah room. We do men and women combined.
Okay.
Then I would do the bedekan, which is when the bride is seated and greeting people.
In
giving
traditional
blessings.
communities, right? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And then in Ashkenazi communities,
Yeah.
I didn't do this, for example.
In traditional Ashkenazi communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the groom comes in and gives her a blessing or something,
Right.
and then he covers her,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
He veils her up. And it's just beautiful and emotional and stunning. I would do that. I would do Persian Jewish energy for walking down the aisle. I don't know if you had this in LA.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Of
Oh my
course.
gosh, I love it. For
Okay.
every one of like my family's weddings, because we have
Yeah.
Persian relatives,
Yeah.
it's basically like cheering.
It's
and,
sure. Exactly. In Ashkenazi, this part is a little bit like a dirge.
yes.
It's a little bit like,
Yes.
and like I'm like bawling. I don't even.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I
Yeah.
bawling about right now?
Oh,
And
by us, we were like walking down.
yes,
Like,
exactly,
you know?
exactly. So you bring that energy.
I would do that. And
Yeah.
then I would do like the Syrian buffet situation, which I love because it's pretty
Yeah.
flexible. Oh, and then my brother got married in Argentina and they do something really interesting at the end. And it's very late at the end of the wedding. Am I remembering this right? They have really cool dessert. And then they like bring out like steak, if I'm remembering it correctly.
You know, that's important. I used to say that the best dessert after having like a meat meal, for example, is not dessert, but like to have like beef bacon at the end.
Well, I'm not saying beef bacon. I'm saying dessert plus steak.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. That's,
Anyways,
that's,
we could manufacture
Okay,
a
fine.
perfect.
I like it.
Yeah, we have to bring more customs though.
Okay, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay, so then again, then we do this as a community, etc. Then there's death.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe the Jewish world should have more life cycle events between wedding and death. But anyway, there's death, and there's the whole ritual of that experience, and there's the funeral, there's the eulogies, there's the burial, then there's the shiva. The shiva is really significant in Judaism. It has real significance.
Can you just define it first?
The shiva is a 7-day period of mourning in which
It's intense mourning.
it's very intense. You're inside your house. Your mirrors are covered. You tear your clothing. You're sitting on a low chair is what traditionally happens. people come to visit you. There's visiting hours.
It's really incredibly social.
It is very social. I would just attended in Los Angeles, one of the most beautiful shivas I've ever been to in my life. And what was special about it is after the afternoon service, mincha, before the evening service, ma'ariv, what they did is they had different cousins, uncles speak about the deceased and just pop up from the chairs and say 1 to 2 minutes about their personal relationship with the person who passed away. It really was beautiful.
Don't the rabbis have like a statement saying that it's better to go to the house of mourning?
The Ecclesiastes says it. It's better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of festivity.
Right, and partially because I think you learn a lot about who you want to be in the world when you come face to face with mortality, with the way that people remember.
Yeah, I have something sick to say. I love going to funerals.
Okay.
Like, it's sad, it's depressing, it's horrible. Like Kohelet, Ecclesiastes got this right. When you go to a funeral and you hear about the person's life and you hear how someone and the family members, the rabbi, perhaps friends, describe that person, there's no greater rebuke to oneself to say, how can I behave in my life? Like, what should I be doing in my, like, to be reflective and to hear how that person transformed their family. And you hear about the fathers and the mothers who did so much for their families and for their communities, and the personal stories that you would never know. Then I start thinking about myself and saying, like, how could I learn from that person? That's why Kohelet Ecclesiastes makes this argument that, like, it's better to go there and to learn from these sorts of moments. There's nothing like it.
Right. No, it's interesting. I'm actually thinking there's something similar about weddings and funerals and Shiva houses, that it's not just the people who are experiencing like the actual life cycle that have an obligation, but it's those who are attending that have an obligation. What do I mean by this? If you're attending a funeral or a Shiva house or a house of mourning, there is a commandment, well, first to help bury the dead, if need be, to be part of that, or to do nichum avelim, to comfort, to console those who are mourning. So it's very different. Like, we are commanded by our tradition, not just to be like passive spectators, but we are actually asked to go there and to think about those who are in pain and those who are in grief and those who are mourning, and to ask ourselves, what can I do right now to make it better? And on the other end of things, there's something similar about going to weddings, right? We literally have a mitzvah, a commandment, l'sameach chatan v'kala, to make a bride and a groom happy. Yeah. By the way, you spoke about what you got from funerals. I'll say for me, the weddings that I most love going to is when I feel like I find a job.
Oh, you find a job.
I find a job.
Right, right.
Or if it's like
if you have a role.
Yes, I get so excited.
Are you you get the water, you get the water? Are you
I'm just saying, I don't always have an assigned role, but I'm like, oh, they need a chair. Let me go get it.
That's what I'm saying. You bring them the water.
Like, I feel like I'm like, wow, I'm like really like I'm doing like the mesamech, like I am making them happy. Yeah. And there I feel like I'm like, it's like, so there's something really interesting there, that in both joy and in sadness, we don't just celebrate in community, we celebrate in community that's commanded to take care of us.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And there's the reason that with regard to funeral and Shiva, it's considered the most important commandment, the highest level of commandment, to honor the dead. To honor the dead. Right. To honor the dead, because the argument there is that the reason it's the highest level. Yeah, it's called a chesed shel emet, which means it's a act of kindness of real integrity, because you get nothing in return for it, is the argument. That the deceased can't do anything to pay you back. Right. So the concept is you give them so much reverence, and they can't do anything in return for you, because very often we do good things in life in a transactional sort of way. We're not even conscious of it. Right. But showing that person honor, there's nothing to do.
The other cool thing I'll just mention, Noam, which is, I don't know if all communities have this, my Sefaradi community has this, but there is like an entire ecosystem and industry of gmachs. Say gmachs.
Well, so these are like, what Gemach stands for?
Yeah, Gemilut Chasadim. Yeah, I know, but let me explain what it is.
Okay, fine.
So a Gemach is like a non-profit organization that basically helps with services and resources around life cycle events. So let's say, God forbid, there's a funeral, like you call in New York, I don't know, other places, misasking, and they come and they bring low chairs and they bring you the booklets. They have different for Sephardim and Ashkenazim. Yeah. And they bring you what you need. I know, because like I've called them for people who need it. There's also like something called, I think, the Shomer Collective that helps with mourning. There's In terms of weddings, like you need a wedding dress and you can't afford one. You need even like crowns for the flower girls.
Yeah.
Or like A to Z.
This
what
is the
you
Jewish
need.
community at its best.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. You call, no question asked. You said, I need a veil. Okay, I need jewelry. I need whatever it is, and people are ready to help. And I think that's really, really beautiful. That this kind of gives the opportunity to take care of each other.
Yeah, and with Shiva, I think for a lot of people, it could feel awkward. You can feel awkward. I don't know the person, but to go to a Shiva house, what do I say?
Yeah.
What do I not say? And there are all these laws about it. You're actually not supposed to technically engage with the person who's mourning until they engage with you. Meaning it's more about listening than it's about speaking. And there's a dynamic that's a little bit awkward for people. I was in my high school, I was actually in charge of the Shiva committee. And so I had a Shiva committee in my Jewish day school, which was that if there was someone was in need of a Shiva, they would like call me and my friends, or they would call the director of student life, who was an adult, and then she would be in touch with me and my friends, and we would go help make a Shiva for them. And we didn't know the people ever, but we would go to their house and make Shiva. I mean, you didn't know what to talk about with them, but you were just there. Sometimes in life it's about showing up. Just show up, and it's not about it's not about what you have to say. You're not saying anything wise and no wisdom. You just show up. And I would even argue that Shiva house, sometimes it's more important to show up at a Shiva more than anything else. Like people really remember that.
Yeah.
So I just want to end with a question. Why does this all matter to us? And I want to read a quote from Rabbi Joseph Ber Soloveitchik, who wrote The Halachic Man. I think he wrote it in 1942, if my strange brain reminds me of that. But here's what Rabbi Soloveitchik says. He says, Halakha takes the individual by the hand and leads him step by step through the whole course of life.
Beautiful.
That's what it is. So ritual in Judaism is actually about halakha. It's about, not in the sense of law, but it's in the sense of walking through life with a road map. And that road map has all of these life cycle events in which you can imbue so much meaning into your life if you engage seriously in these life cycle events. And I would say more specifically, if you partake in other people's life cycle events. If you go to them, if you just show up, if you participate in them, if you find roles for yourself, like you said, do whatever it is, be part of it. That's what it is to be part of the Jewish experience, to be part of that roadmap of life, which life could feel dizzying. It could feel lonely. You could feel insecure. You don't know where to go, but you have this roadmap. You participated in it individually and communally. Then you have direction.
Yeah. I mean, I also just say, like, I'm coming off this wedding and it was just so happy.
Yeah.
And family and
joyful Judaism. Love that. Well, Mijal, thanks for talking to me about life cycles.
Anytime.
See you next week.
Wandering Jews with Mijal and Noam is a production of Unpacked, an open door media brand.
Subscribe to Wandering Jews wherever you're listening to this pod. And if you're on YouTube, check out Wandering Jews there. If you're on Instagram, check out Wandering Jews there. And most of all, be in touch. Write us at wanderingjews@unpacked.media.
Our executive producer is Ryan Rabinovitz, and the team includes Jenny Falcon, Alex Harris, Rov Pera, and Rivki Stern. I'm Michal Biton.
And I'm Noam Weissman. See you next week.